Have you ever asked yourself, what if one day I had a heart attack and no one was around to help? It may sound like a distant thought, but for many of us, older adults living alone, it's not so far-fetched. It's a quiet question that lingers in the background of our daily routines, and one we rarely say out loud. I'm not saying this to scare you. I say it so we can be prepared. Because here's the good news. Even if you're completely alone, you can survive, as long as you recognize the signs early and act quickly. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't need fancy equipment. All it takes is knowing 7 simple steps, steps that may seem small, but can mean the difference between life and not making it. At our age, we've been through more than our fair share: grief, joy, change, and the quiet beauty of a peaceful morning. Our hearts have trembled with emotion many times. But what we often overlook is that when the heart cries out from physical pain, it doesn't scream. It whispers. It gives you gentle warnings: a strange tightness in the chest, a cold sweat down your back, a short breath that feels a little too shallow. And in that moment, if you choose to listen instead of brushing it off, if you sit down instead of trying to tough it out, then you're already giving yourself a chance, a real chance to stay alive. In this video, I'm not just going to list off the 7 things you should do if you're alone during a heart attack. I want to share real stories, stories of people in their 70s and 80s who faced this moment. People just like you and me. Ordinary folks sitting alone in a quiet house who made one important decision. They acted in time. You don't need to memorize everything at once, but sometimes one small thing, like keeping a tablet of aspirin in your nightstand, might be what keeps you here, with your family, with your life. And if you're watching this now, I want to say this clearly. You're already doing something important. You're taking the time to understand how to protect yourself. And that, to me, is a sign of quiet strength. Because at this stage in life, what matters most isn't just how long we live, but how well we live, and how ready we are not to face danger alone. So today, let me walk alongside you, as a fellow elder, and share these steps, not to add worry, but to help you feel a little more at ease, even on the quietest of days when you're by yourself. Step 1. Recognizing early warning signs. When the body whispers, you must listen carefully. The most dangerous part of a heart attack isn't when it hits like a storm. It's the quiet beginning, the moment when your body speaks softly, gently, almost politely. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss the only window to save yourself. Many of us have felt something strange in the chest at some point. Not sharp pain, not even discomfort exactly, but a weight. As if someone placed a small stone right at the center of your chest, pressing down slightly with every breath. Not enough to sound the alarm, but just enough to make you pause for a second. You might think it's from sleeping in the wrong position, or maybe from indigestion. But then you stand up, take a few steps across the kitchen floor, and suddenly you're short of breath, as if you've climbed a hill. And then, perhaps, a cold sweat gathers in your palms, light but unusual. That's when something inside you knows, this isn't right. There's a saying I once heard from a doctor at a rural clinic: the heart doesn't shout when it's in trouble, it whispers. And if you listen, you still have time. But if you ignore it, it won't wait for you. That stayed with me. Science backs this up. According to the American Heart Association, nearly half of fatal heart attacks occur outside of hospitals, often because early symptoms were dismissed or misunderstood. The warning signs aren't always dramatic. They can be subtle. A dull pressure in the chest, unexpected shortness of breath while at rest, lightheadedness, a sudden wave of fatigue, or mild nausea that doesn't make sense. For older adults, especially women, the signs can appear even further from the textbook version. Some feel pain not in the chest, but in the back, jaw, shoulder, or left arm. Others don't feel pain at all, only a strange sense of unease or overwhelming tiredness, even without any effort. And because these symptoms don't always match what we see on TV, they're too easy to overlook. Here's what we must remember. If something doesn't feel right, you don't need anyone else to confirm it. You've lived long enough to know your body better than anyone. And when that feeling lingers, when your breath is shorter than it should be, when your heart feels off, stop what you're doing. Sit down. Pay attention. Don't try to push through it. Don't wait for it to become obvious. Acting early can be the difference between recovery and regret. Your body doesn't lie. It only needs you to listen, and listen at the right moment. Step 2. Call emergency services immediately. Don't wait when your heart starts to speak. Once your body begins to send signals, even subtle ones, the most important thing you can do isn't to wait, or to call your children, or to sit quietly and see how it goes. The most important thing is simple. Call for help right away. I understand. Many of us grew up learning to be strong, to endure pain, to avoid making a fuss. We don't want to cause trouble for anyone. We think it's probably nothing. I'll be fine. But when it comes to your heart, hesitation can be fatal. And sadly, that hesitation has cost too many lives. In the United States alone, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, reports that a large number of people who die from heart attacks outside the hospital never even made the call for help. Some tried to drive themselves. Some waited too long. Some phoned a family member first instead of emergency services. And because of that delay, they missed the critical window where doctors could have intervened. There are stories of people collapsing just before getting into their car. Others fainted halfway down the stairs, trying to get dressed before calling anyone. And some, who sat still and hoped the discomfort would pass, simply never got back up. I'm not telling you this to frighten you. I'm saying it because we need to know exactly what to do. And we need to do it without waiting. Calling emergency services isn't overreacting. It's not being dramatic. It's being wise. It's taking your life seriously, because no one else can do that for you in that moment. And here's something important to remember. You don't need to be absolutely certain it's a heart attack to call 911. The dispatcher isn't waiting for a perfect description. They're trained to handle uncertain situations. All you have to say is, "I don't feel right. I'm having chest pressure," or "I'm short of breath." That's enough for them to know it's time to send help. Modern emergency systems are designed to respond fast. The moment your call connects, paramedics begin preparing, loading equipment, getting your address, and heading your way. The sooner you call, the more time they have to reach you before things get worse. And if you're using a smartphone, many models now include emergency call shortcuts tried even from the lock screen. You can set this up ahead of time or ask someone you trust to help. Because in those critical minutes, being able to call for help quickly may be the single most important thing you do. There's a saying among emergency responders, better to show up and find someone safe than to arrive too late. So don't worry about calling for nothing. Worry about waiting too long. If one day your heart starts to speak in that quiet, unfamiliar way, don't sit with uncertainty. Don't drive yourself. Don't think it will pass. Just pick up the phone. Call for help. Those few early minutes can buy you years more with your family, your friends, and the life you still want to live. Step 3. Chew the aspirin, a small action that could save your life. After you've called emergency services, there's one more thing you can do. Something simple, quiet, and surprisingly powerful. It doesn't require any special equipment or training. It's just chewing an aspirin. I know, to most of us, aspirin is just a painkiller, something for a headache or an aching joint. But in the event of a heart attack, that little white pill can buy you time when time matters most. Because when chewed at the first sign of heart attack symptoms, aspirin helps slow the formation of blood clots. It keeps blood flowing to the heart, delaying or reducing the damage that might otherwise be permanent. Doctors at institutions like the Mayo Clinic and the American Heart Association agree, chewing a standard 325 milligrams aspirin, as long as you're not allergic and not on certain blood-thinning medications, can greatly increase your chances of surviving a heart attack. And the key word here is chew, not swallow. Chewing allows the medicine to enter your bloodstream faster, often within minutes. I understand that in the middle of a frightening moment, the idea of remembering what to chew, what not to do, can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth. Even if your hands are shaking, even if your breath is shallow, just take a deep breath and chew the aspirin slowly and calmly. The bitter taste is nothing compared to what it's doing for your heart. Now, of course, not everyone keeps aspirin nearby. That's why preparation matters. If you live alone, as many of us do, It's worth taking a moment today to tuck a few tablets in places that are easy to reach. In your nightstand, your wallet, your kitchen drawer. Somewhere you won't have to search when every second counts. And make sure your loved ones know where it is too, just in case. According to a study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine, patients who took aspirin within the first 30 minutes of a heart attack had a 23% lower chance of dying compared to those who didn't. 23%. All because of one small pill taken in time. We don't know when or if such a moment will come, and none of us wants to think about it. But if it does, being ready and knowing what to do is a quiet form of courage. The kind of courage we've built over a lifetime, raising families, overcoming illness, facing hardship, and still waking up each day with hope. So don't underestimate the power of that one tiny tablet. It may look small in your hand, but in the hands of someone who knows what to do, it might just hold the weight of years more life, love, and laughter. Step 4. Sit or lie down. When doing nothing is the smartest thing you can do. Once you've called for help, once you've taken the aspirin, your next job might feel strange. You need to stop. Truly stop. No rushing, no moving around, no just one more thing before they arrive. Just stop. I know it goes against our instincts. Most of us were raised to keep going, to finish what we started, even when we're not feeling well. So in moments like this, many people feel the urge to get up and unlock the front door, grab their insurance card, change clothes, or tidy up a bit, just in case. But in a heart attack, every extra movement is a burden on a heart that's already struggling to keep up. Our bodies at this age don't bounce back the way they used to. And during a heart attack, the heart is desperate for oxygen. Even small movements, walking across the room, bending down, climbing a few stairs, can be too much. That's why your best move is no movement at all. Medical experts at the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute have long emphasized that resting in the correct position during a cardiac event can help stabilize blood pressure and reduce the risk of rhythm disturbances. And in those precious minutes before emergency responders arrive, that can mean everything. So what should you do? Sit in a chair with a firm back or on the edge of your bed. Keep your feet flat on the floor. Let your hands rest in your lap or at your sides. Don't tense up. Just allow your body to be still. If you feel dizzy or faint, you can lie on your side with your head slightly elevated using a pillow, but only if it's safe to do so without straining. The important thing is this: don't do anything more than you absolutely have to. Don't try to finish what you were doing. Don't reach for anything unless it's necessary. Let your body focus all its energy on one task: surviving this moment. And here's something I want to say, especially to those of us who struggle with stillness. You are not being weak by sitting down. You are being wise. Choosing rest in a crisis is not giving up. It's giving your heart its best chance. We spend so much of our lives trying to do more, to be strong for others, to prove that we're still capable. But there comes a moment when strength means knowing when to stop, when to let go, and when to trust that help is on the way. So if the signs appear, pressure in the chest, shortness of breath, lightheadedness, and you've already called for help, don't try to power through it. Sit down or lie down and breathe. Because in that quiet, still place, you are not helpless. You are holding the line. And sometimes that's more than enough. Step 5, unlock the door. A simple act that helps others save you faster. In those minutes when you've already called for help, taken your aspirin, and found a place to sit and breathe, there's one small act, often forgotten, that can make a world of difference. Unlocking your door. When emergency responders arrive, they need to get to you fast. And a locked door, no matter how sturdy or well secured, can slow them down. It may only be a minute or two, but during a heart attack, every second counts. If they have to knock, call out, or force their way in, that's time lost, and your heart doesn't have time to spare. According to the American Heart Association, the chances of surviving a heart attack increase significantly when care is provided within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Any delay, even something as simple as a locked door, can chip away at that chance. Now, I want to be clear, only unlock the door if it's safe to do so. If you're feeling faint or unstable, don't risk standing up or walking across the house. In those cases, your safety takes priority. Stay where you are. help will still come. But if the door is just a few steps away and you're steady enough to reach it, go ahead and unlock it. Leave it slightly ajar if you can, or make sure it's easy for responders to open. That small gesture tells them, I'm here, I'm ready, come in. If you live in a building with a security system, a coded gate, or an apartment with an access door, it's worth thinking ahead. Some people use a medical lockbox with a spare key. Others share access codes with trusted neighbors or family members. Some even install smart locks that can be opened remotely, especially helpful if you live alone. And for those of us who still prefer the old-fashioned way, a simple extra key hidden in a safe spot or left with a neighbor can make all the difference. You might think they'll find a way in if they need to. And you're right, paramedics are trained for that. But forced entry causes damage. It can be loud, chaotic, even dangerous if you're near the door. And worst of all, it wastes time you might not have. But more than that, unlocking the door is symbolic. It means you've done everything in your power to stay alive. You've prepared, you've remained calm, you've made it just a little easier for someone else to help you. Sometimes the difference between life and death isn't dramatic. It's not a grand rescue or a heroic effort. It's something as simple as an open door and a person inside who knew what to do. Step 6. Use speakerphone and emergency medical ID. When your phone speaks for you. In a moment of crisis, your phone becomes more than just a way to call for help. It becomes your voice, your medical history, your lifeline. And if you use it wisely, it can keep helping you even when you no longer can. After you've dialed emergency services, one of the smartest things you can do, and one that's so often overlooked, is to switch your phone to speaker mode. I know it sounds small, but when your chest feels tight, your breathing is shallow, and your hands are shaking, holding a phone to your ear is just one more strain on a body already under pressure. By putting the call on speaker, you free your hands, conserve your energy, and allow the person on the other end to stay connected with you, guiding you, calming you, listening. And that's something many people don't realize. When your phone is on speaker, the dispatcher can hear you better, and not just your words. They can hear your breathing, your background noise, even subtle signs of distress. That can help them prepare the paramedics or escalate care if things change while you wait. But what if you lose consciousness? What if, before help arrives, you're no longer able to speak? That's where your medical ID can step in and speak for you. Most modern smartphones, whether it's an iPhone or Android, now have a built-in feature called Emergency Medical ID. It holds critical health information, your name, date of birth, known conditions like diabetes or heart disease, allergies, medications you take, even your emergency contacts. And the best part? It's accessible even from the lock screen, no password needed. So if paramedics arrive and find you unconscious, they can check your phone, open the medical ID, and instantly know how to treat you. That knowledge can save precious minutes and save your life. There have been many real-life stories where this simple feature prevented a fatal mistake. A patient allergic to penicillin, a diabetic in shock, a person on blood thinners who couldn't explain it. But because they set up their phone in advance, they didn't have to speak. Their phone spoke for them. If you haven't set this up yet, I encourage you to ask a family member or a friend to help. It only takes a few minutes. But once it's done, it stays there, quietly waiting, ready to help when you need it most. We often think of smartphones as complicated or overwhelming, but in a crisis, they can be incredibly human. They hold our voices, our connections, and our stories. And when we're scared, they give us tools to feel a little less alone. So the next time you hold your phone in your hand, remember, it's not just a screen, it's part of your safety plan. In the silence of a heart attack, when words fail and fear creeps in, your phone can still speak, and sometimes that's enough. Step 7. Slow your breathing. When you can't control anything else, control this. In the middle of a heart attack, panic can come quickly. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race. Every second feels louder than the one before. You've already called for help. You've taken the aspirin. You've sat down and done what you can. But still, your heart feels like it's running on its own. Fast, uneven, uncertain. And in that moment, when everything feels like it's slipping out of your hands, there's still one thing left that you can hold on to. Your breath. It may sound simple, but breathing, slow, steady, intentional, is one of the most powerful tools we have when the body begins to falter. According to research published in the Journal of Cardiopulmonary Rehabilitation and Prevention, controlled breathing helps calm the nervous system, reduce heart rate, and lower blood pressure, all of which can reduce the strain on a heart that's already under threat. You don't need to be an expert in meditation. You don't need to get it perfect. You just need to try. Here's something that's helped many. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it gently for 1 or 2, then exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. Don't rush, don't force it. Just let the rhythm guide you. 4 in, pause, 6 out. And again. At first, your body might fight it. Panic wants short, fast breaths. But the moment you begin to take control, even just a little, you send a message to your heart and your brain. We're not giving in. We're staying calm. And that message, quiet, steady, brave, can keep your heart from spiraling into something worse. You won't stop the heart attack with your breath, but you may prevent it from becoming fatal. You may buy yourself just enough time, enough oxygen, enough stability to make it until help arrives. And beyond the science, there's something deeply human in this. Because when everything else is stripped away, the noise, the fear, the uncertainty, the breath is what remains. It's what we've had since the first moment of life, and it's what we return to in moments of crisis. So when the world goes quiet and your body begins to shake and all you want to do is panic, remember this. You still have one tool, one choice, one breath at a time. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, and stay with it. Stay here, stay alive. Final thoughts. When you know what to do, you're never truly alone. We've just walked through 7 small actions, and yet when pieced together they form something powerful, a plan to survive, even when you're by yourself. I know that for many of us, living alone wasn't always the plan. Some of us lost loved ones. Some chose independence. Some simply found themselves here, in the quiet of a home where footsteps no longer echo like they used to. And with that quiet often comes a quiet fear. What if something happens and no one's there? But what we've talked about today, noticing the early signs, calling for help without delay, chewing an aspirin, staying still, unlocking the door, using your phone wisely, and slowing your breath, these aren't just instructions. They are acts of strength, of courage, of care. Because knowing what to do is more than preparation. It's power. It means that even in the loneliest moments, you're not powerless. It means you've given yourself a fighting chance, not just to survive, but to live well beyond that moment. Some people think surviving a heart attack is about luck, but in truth, it's often about readiness. It's about that calm voice on the line, that tablet in the drawer, that breath you took instead of panicking, that door you opened, or that medical ID you set up on your phone. We don't need to do grand things. We don't need to be heroic. We just need to do the little things and do them on time. If something today made you think differently, if it made you want to set your phone up, move your aspirin closer, or share this with someone you love, then that is already something meaningful. That is how we stay ready and stay here. And if this video or message helped you, consider passing it on. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's practical. It's human. And it might save someone who's sitting alone one quiet afternoon, unsure of what to do, just like we once were. So take care of yourself. Breathe deeply. Live with awareness, not fear. Because you're not fragile, you're prepared. And that, my friend, makes all the difference.